This is your intro-less intro. This is a no intro for the intro. This is how we're going to do things. Hey, we got another project we're excited to show you today. And today we're in beautiful Sharpsburg, Georgia, which is right here in Coweta County, which is right here in Georgia, which is south of Atlanta, which is north of Florida and south of Tennessee. We're getting ready to start a new project, and Beaconsfield is the name of this subdivision. Just kind of want to go over some of the things that you need to be aware of when if you're out looking for land to build a house, or if you have you're working with an agent and the agent is feeding you lots and lands to build a house. Just a few things to be kind of thinking of, that you don't get yourself in a bad situation or get yourself in a situation where you're spending a lot more money than what you thought, because it can happen pretty quick if you're not careful. So just to kind of talk about this lot for a little bit, and I've already talked to the homeowner, the folks we're going to be building a house for. He said he was 100% fine with me talking about the issues that they've been through and some of the issues we've been through trying to get this thing ready to build. So like I said, this subdivision's been here, I think 15, 18 years maybe. So just the first part of that, if you're looking in a subdivision that's already been developed and the houses have been there for 10, 15 years, and you see a couple lots in there, a lot of times those are going to be dog lots, what we would call dog lots. There's a reason that builder that developed that piece of land, there's a reason he did not build on those houses, and it could be because it's just going to cost him too much to where he didn't feel comfortable putting a spec house on that lot. Now, somebody come by and while he was building the rest of the subdivision out, and they wanted to do a pre-sale or a custom home, and he could have said, oh yeah, here, I'll put you on this lot right here, and he could have got rid of that lot that way. But like I said, if you get into a situation where you're in an older neighborhood and you see lots that have been sitting around, or there's one lot here left in the cul-de-sac, there's a lot left over here on the main road, you really need to be looking at the area around that lot, or get in touch with somebody that can tell you why that lot is still sitting there. Because the bottom line is, when a developer goes in to develop a piece of land and the builders come in to build on that piece of land, if it was worth their while, they would have built on that lot. It's not like they just backed out and said, oh, you know, we made enough money on this project, we're just going to stop and leave this dirt here. It's not the way that works. Everybody knows that. So there's a reason that piece of dirt was still sitting there. This lot actually has a retention pond right at the back of it. I mean, really in the backyard of the house. Obviously, whenever you see retention pond, that is where the water is supposed to go. So when the dirt was developed, the runoff spots, retention ponds, okay? That's made for a reason. Well, as you can see, this one has not been taken care of in forever. I mean, those trees are 30 foot tall in there. I mean, that thing drops off 15 feet down into the bottom, okay? Most of the time, usually the HOA is responsible for the retention ponds, and you know, every case is different. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But this one is actually put on the homeowner. So the homeowner is responsible for taking care of this one. So by the end of this project, we will take this fence down that's been tore up, and we'll put a nice privacy fence up, and we'll clean out some of these trees. Now, we're not going all the way down in there and mucking this entire thing out, but we will clean some of these trees up to make this look a little bit nicer. Thing number one, if you pull up to a lot and it's got a retention pond on the back of it, just know there's probably going to be a few things that you either need to be thinking of or dealing with when it comes to runoff. Now, the house is going to be up here. The house is really nowhere near the retention pond. You are going to have water running around into this pond back here. That's just kind of one thing to stick out in your head. If you see a retention pond, you know, and you see low land over there, I mean, you know, you just kind of got to at least be asking questions. That's the main thing I would say, is at least be asking questions about what you're seeing. The second thing is, in an older neighborhood like this, is when the developer comes in and buys the land, they file what is called a primary NOI, a notice of intent, with the state, okay? They come in and do their, that gets approved, they come in and do their work, and then as the builders take the lots down, they file what's called a tertiary NOI, okay? So they're saying that we're going to come in now, we're going to build a house, and that gets approved through the county and the state. On this particular lot, what happened was, because it's been sitting here for so long, the county had no record of a permit for the primary. So we got ourselves stuck in trying to get a permit for this lot, where the state's telling us we got to have a permit number from the county as a primary that we can turn it in and be tertiary. Well, the county told us that neighborhood's so old, we'll never find that number. Now that's down in the basement somewhere, and it'd take us forever to dig that out. out. Of course, we were like, well, I'm fine with you taking forever to dig it out. I just need you to dig it out so I can turn it into the state. Well, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, where we finally had to get approved where we could come in as the primary because the neighborhood's so old, they could not find the primary permit. The state allowed us to do this as a primary. So we finally got our permit to get going on this piece of dirt. Well, just to tell you how long that took, and anybody that's ever dealt with municipalities and red tape, you know it can get mired down and just take forever, and you really have no recourse. You're just at their mercy to get your stuff when you get your stuff. So I think we signed a contract on this house in October of last year, October of 2025. We were planning on being done. It's March 18th, March 20th. I think it's I don't even know what day it is. It's third week of March, probably, something like that. We were planning on being done with this thing in May, like easily. So that tells you, and that's us working on, and we even had engineers that were helping us work on this, and all this had to be re-engineered. They were also working with the state. You just really, really, really need to be careful and don't think that just because you go buy a piece of dirt somewhere and there's other houses around that you can do exactly what you want to do on that piece of dirt, because each piece of dirt is different. I mean, I even said that kind of in that video about the house, the addition we're doing over in Sonoa, and we started digging. I've dug in this county and Fayette County my whole life and never hit what we hit over there in that backyard. So everything, every little piece and every little project can be different, that's for sure. So make sure that you at least ask questions when you're looking for property or looking for land. You know, soil tests is a huge thing. Like, never, ever, ever go into a land deal without getting a soil test done, okay? And it's very simple to do. All you do is call the engineer, soil scientist, he goes out there, he digs a little bit here and there, and he comes back and tells you whether your dirt is gonna be okay for a normal septic system or whether it's gonna take a little bit of work and engineering to get that septic system in there. So that's kind of another thing I want to talk about this lot. You see, we've only got just a little bit of high ground right here to build on, okay? And then it's got, and I'll walk over here as May's turning the camera, it drops off right over here. So we don't have a whole lot of good dirt or soil over here. So what's gonna happen on this lot is I'm standing, oh, where's my flag? Am I missing, you see a flag, May? A flag back here in the back? Being colorblind has its challenges. There's one right there, one over there. All right, so I'm probably standing, somewhere right here is gonna be the master bedroom, master bathroom on this floor plan. The garage is gonna be up there, and then this will be the back side of the house where the master bedroom is. And the septic system is gonna come out right here, and it'll be hard piped over here. But if you look all the way over there where that little ridge is, that's where that fill line is going to go, okay? So obviously I don't have to say a whole lot about money getting spent for that system to go in over there. Usually it'd be right here, like right where we're standing. It'd just come out, septic tank be right here, fill line be right here, and it's just a regular old deal. This is going to be an engineered system that costs even more money to put in, that's going to run over in that area over there. And another little thing to think of that I can tell you we ran into, there's a gate right over there on that retention pond. That's an easement. There's an easement that runs back out to the road, so this retention pond could have access for the state to come check it, the county to come check it, whoever needed to come check it to make sure it was doing what it's supposed to do. That easement's never going away. So between the time this lot was developed and us coming in to do this, county now has a stipulation that says you cannot cross that easement with your septic. So we had to, you know, that had to be brought up and figured out. Usually, I will say, usually when you have a lot of record, and this will be considered a lot of record, that it falls within the ordinances or the zoning of when it got recorded. Okay, does that make sense? So when you have a piece of property and you get a survey on it and you go get that survey recorded, it typically becomes a lot of record. And even if they change the ordinances 10 years down the road, you typically would go back to the original zoning and ordinances on that. So to throw things out there, be very careful when you are looking for a piece of land to develop or build on or buy and hold. You know, obviously because of the business we're in, the total real estate business itself, we believe that land is a great investment. But I can also, and it really is, I mean, it's hard to replicate some things that you can do with dirt and building. But I can also tell you that you can't just go out there blind and buy a piece of dirt and just think that it's automatically gonna increase in value over time, because there are many, many things that kind of sway that back and forth, whether it's just the municipality itself and they're willing to let progress come in. If it's the school system, you know, if you buy a piece of dirt in a county that has a really bad school system, you're not gonna see your investment investment go up like you would in a county that has a good school system. The soil, like you can buy a piece of dirt, and if it's got bad soil, you're either A, not going to be able to build what you want to build on it, or B, you're going to have to spend a lot of money to get it to where you can build what you want to build on it. I say all that just to say, if you are looking for a piece of land, or you're looking to go build a house, or you're wanting to buy dirt as an investment, just make sure you have some folks in your corner that can answer questions for you, and also maybe even explain some pitfalls to look for in the beginning. Now, I will say, as far as this particular lot goes, and all the stuff that came with it, and the money that was spent to get it to where it's now ready to build on, the family that has bought this piece of land, they were fine with that. They have grandkids that are right down the street, and they were happy. I shouldn't say happy. They obviously weren't happy about spending the extra money to get this thing where it needed to be, but they were happy with seeing this project through because they do want to live here and be right down the road from their family. So I know it doesn't look that good right now. It's just a piece of dirt, and it's got some nasty trees around here, and it doesn't look the best. But when we get done with this project, it's going to look totally different. So that goes back to what I've said before, is you kind of have to understand or be able to see what that final project looks like. When you come out here and it's nothing but dirt, we have to be able to picture that house sitting there and what everything around it is going to look like, and how do we make it look good and make it look like there was never ever a problem with this lot to start with. So as you can see, we've got our silt fence run. We've gone ahead and started a little bit here, got our silt fence run, got our construction entrance in. We're getting our erosion control inspection today, so hopefully we'll pass that. If you're used to seeing silt fence, usually if you live in a neighborhood and you've seen where they're building your neighbor's house or building a house down the road, typically you would see the silt fence come all the way to the street and then run down the curb. And for whatever reason, when they did the design on this one, we didn't have to do that, but we did have to do, and I've talked about it before in another little video, we did have to do, man, that's some extra heavy duty silt fence. Double row with hay bales staked all the way around to that back corner to where it starts coming back uphill. So anyway, so we're off to a good start here, got some good weather. Hopefully we'll be rocking and rolling on this one and get the frame and get the pad in, and then get the framing going here pretty soon. But I wanted to go out and just say, if you look at this right now, like that backdrop's beautiful. And we've got a little bit of stuff in between where the house is going to be and the major backdrop that we're going to clean up and make look nice. But I just want to be able to show what a difference this entire lot is going to look like by the time we're done with it. Ranch house, I think it's 2,500 square foot. I have to get the plan out and look. I can't exactly remember. Privacy fence, we're going to rip that fence down. Privacy fence going back there. We'll trim some of those trees up back there to where when the family's sitting on the back porch or in the backyard, they'll see those big oaks back there, that big canopy. But a lot of this stuff right here will be out of the way where you can't see it. Put your vision hat on and picture a nice house sitting here, just like the rest of these houses in this subdivision 6 months from now, 5 months from now, hopefully.